Some of you might be wondering why I'm still playing with this piece of crap. Stay tuned. I was just playing around with the 3 horsepower block. I wanted to take it apart and replace the crank that I busted. So I took all the easy stuff off, the flywheel, the mag plate, the 4 bolts. That's all stuff you've seen before. You guys know how to do that. And then a couple little odds and ends here come out. And then once you get down to the bare bones of the block, it's pretty easy. You got the big screws, and this is where this impact driver comes in handy. I use it all the time, especially on the older ones. Let me know where you guys find bits at. I keep getting these bits, and you know, after a couple bangs, they start to warp on me. The only tricky part is the little pins. There's like a roll push pin thing in here. It's like that. And then I bought this punch at Harbor Freight. It's never failed me yet. 200 uses. Bang, 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 bang. And it'll pop out the other side. And then technically it should come apart. You should have used a rubber mallet for this. There she comes. There she comes. Okay, so this is new to me. This is a... Let me check the year. 3 horsepower, and I decided to play with it because I've been seeing them on the Facebook Marketplace group a lot. And everybody else seems to like them, so why not me? This one's got a little bottom piece. Little nut bolt here. And that's connected here, which is stopping me from... So I gotta take this out, didn't it? Here she comes. Voila! Insert angelic music here. It's pretty clean. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. It ran. Well, it didn't run right. It was overheating. I think all the water passages were clogged. However, it should be cleaned. Pretty clean crank. I have another motor. Crank's going to be ready to go, so we don't have to wait on parts. Just time. Just time. See how bad I up the surfaces here? Yeah, see, every gouge matters, man. Especially when the 2 block halves are being mated. Every gouge matters. You got to put a specific sealant on here. Aerator stuff. Brandon's Garage uses it. Big debate on one of the channels I was watching on what to use. I'm going to show you what Brandon uses. It's what I used for a couple blocks now. So you might say your method works. Fine. But I'm going to show you the one I use that has worked 100%. Still got to get the head off. And then we can take the pistons out. We'll save the pistons, the rings. The only thing I can't use is the crank. And then we got to label everything. And then I'll show you why these older motors need 16:1 on the oil ratio. In the meantime, the head bolts can come off. I've had this apart because the water passages were all clogged, so I had to pull the head off to clean all the water passages out. How clean it is. Pistons look good. I mean, the whole block is pretty. There's the brand new head gasket. Will we reuse it? Probably not. I might though. I'm pretty stupid and lazy, but they should be cheap enough. We'll do it right. So all of this was clogged with crap. I got the video. I'll point it here. I'll put it up here right now. Bill put the card in, and that's probably what happened to this motor. Just got clogged with salt and crap, and then overheated and given up on. I've even had this plate off, and there is water that was seeping out of here, so that wasn't sealing properly. And what we got to do is take the very tightly and capped, and then we got to label everything. Top, and then make sure you don't rotate them backwards. I was saying in another video, yeah, these aren't like typical piston rods. So like, you know, typical piston rods, this surface is supposed to be like perfectly straight. They didn't do this back in the day. They didn't crack them. You know, what I was told, I don't know 100%, you guys can tell me, they take the piston and then crack it. That's why you have to be specific with the rod caps, got to match because they were cracked and they have to go back the same exact way. And then you have no mating surface, no, it's all smooth. With this one, I'm getting I just don't think it was the same. They also didn't use roller bearings on these. This is just metal on metal on the shaft. That's why you need the excess oil. There wasn't a roller bearing to break instead of the whole shaft. The friction went right there, instant rod knock, and you were done. But still want to keep everything together just because. Why not? These have torque specifications. They have keepers. Let's take these two out. Voila. This bottom plate should come on. Ow. There's another new gasket to buy. And there's our crank. Oh, wait. There she goes. There's our new crankshaft. Well, our old crankshaft. Garbage. We can push the pistons out. It's so cute when you can hold the whole block in your hand. Oh, should mark those. That's the top. That's the bottom. How cute it is. It's a 7.5 horsepower. 3 horsepower. Isn't he cute? Bigger than you. You're smaller than me. Look what Daddy found. I found it. It was on the floor, back behind a corner. Must have fell. So here she is. The crankshaft from the rusty Goldie. This is what it came out of. Came out of this power head. Look at that cylinder. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Whew. But look at the crankshaft. Clean. You know, I'll wire brush it up, clean it up real nice, make it shiny, glassy. Unbelievable. Look at this sucker. Oh yeah, that's rusty gold in there. That cylinder's real bad. This piston don't look too bad. Maybe we can play with that one. Alright, quick cleanup of some of the mating surfaces for the 3 horsepower. Shined her up a little bit. Reed valves. They are now looking like new. We're gonna give the cylinders a quick hone. They are almost flawless in there, so they don't really need it, but it's a part, so it couldn't hurt. So I'm just gonna take some of this used gear oil I have. Little lube. I got this on Amazon a while ago. I don't remember which one it is. It's tiny though. It's for smaller engines. And it just barely fits in there. I'm actually gonna dip just one of the stones in it. Some people don't like this type. They like the balls. It's fine. Use whatever you like. You don't have to use this one. I like this one. Just because of the way it is. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason for me liking this one. Might have put too much on there. This is just a quick touch-up. Stick her on in. I want to go too deep on this one because the holes are right there. We're just gonna... That's it. Like I said, if this was a a rougher power head, I might do a little more. And the bigger engines, people don't like this one because it gets stuck in the holes, they say. This 3 horsepower is nothing. Oh, like that. It didn't need that much. I was just covering my bases. Just checking my cross hatches. Looks pretty good. Very amateur job here. We're going for a rebuild of the 3 horsepower. So I don't know where I'm going to put this video, but we're going to... The new pistons are going in... Not new pistons. They're not new. The problem we had was we were unsecure because there's a sexy little score bore mark right where our little piston, our 3 piston go to score mark. I mean, it is deep. But compression was good when we took it apart. The rings were stuck. We unfreed them. We cleaned up the piston skirts. We did everything we could. We got a little score mark on one. We got all the gaskets. We're going to put it together. Yeah, granted, it's a 3 horsepower motor. It might put out 2.2 horsepower, but it's going to go together. It's going to run, and we're going to go with it. So we're going to put our pistons in. So what we really need is a little, I mean, I put some WD on there, but I don't trust WD. We're just going to take a little bit of used old gear oil. Blip, blip, blip. Just, that's it. That's it. Molly lube, call it whatever lube you want. Just taking some old crappy oil. I'm going to do it right. We're not talking about a 2012 freaking Nissan motor. We're talking about a 1950s 3 horsepower. Just get it together. All right. I'm actually going to pull this piston out and put some... I did hone the cylinders. Now let's get the cylinders dropped in. Oh, don't forget your rings. Make sure there's a little divot. Little dot. Top ring. It's like a dowel. Make sure your rings line up with the dowel. Now that I know that one does, let's check the bottom cylinder. Yes. You guys can see that? All right, let's get it in. So. Now, there's a ton of you that are like, that method is awful. And I agree with you. That method is awful. What did I do? I banged and pushed and got the piston in the cylinder. Don't do what I do. Do what you learn. Do you. This is my effing motor. You don't have to worry about it. So, yeah, I squished the rings. You're supposed to have a pistol tool. Blah, blah, blah. It's a 3 horsepower motor. Stop. Leave me alone. Piston's in. Next piston. And she's in. So there you go. Getting the pistons in is really technically the easy part. You just gotta make sure the piston rings aren't broken. You gotta make sure that you check your tolerances. You know, if you're working on a motor that you actually like need to get around. But once they're in, they're in. They're gonna move up and down in the cylinders. We even hone the cylinder. You don't need to hone the cylinders. I just did. The main thing is now the cylinder's in. Now we can actually flop it. And we can insert our crankshaft. Now, what is important is the bead of silicone, not silicone, the bead of gasket maker you use here. That is important. If you use anything but what you're supposed to use, you're going to have a bad moment. So, I can live with a score mark on the cylinder, a little bit less compression, might not run for 100,000 years. But what matters is the bead of silicone you put between this block half and this block half. Please note what I say, do what I don't do, but pay attention to the certain points where I'm like, hey, do this. Okay? Clean up both block halves. I mean, clean them up. Brake cleaner, acetone, whatever you can do to get this as clean as possible. Then wipe it off with a clean rag, not a dirty paper towel. A clean rag. You wipe it off. Wanted to bypass the tank and run a fuel pump, which this is the only motor I've ever seen to give you an option. It's got the hole and a screw for the pump. So I put the pump on there, but now my carb stinks. I just need a nipple. So I was like, maybe I'll find a fitting, and I could do that. I will do that possibly, but right now couldn't find one. So I said, let me run the old setup, because like the tank looked clean, still looks great. Let's check this disaster. There's no way she runs. Boy. Choke's on, needles turn here. Needles open. Let's start. Just firing. Ooh. Put your rope start right next to your thumb. That feels good. Got a sputter out of her. 1.5. A little more throttle. Choke in. Okay. Good news, bad news time. She always did this. Start, stall, don't run again, right? Now granted, this block is fresh, so there's a lot of new things going on here. That could always lead to the problem. The other problem is, I remember this tank having an issue, but it's clean on the inside, but I remember fuel not flowing right. I can't remember why. The other issue I always had was dam water dripping from this plate here, the exhaust plate. But I've had it off, I've cleaned it, new gasket. I've done everything I can do to that stinking exhaust plate. I think this motor just sat in the mud too long. That's what I honestly think. Because it's just, there's too many stupid issues to stop it from keeping running. Really would like to get the drill on it. Choke it. Could be flooded already. I think that's a wrap. I think this motor's been apart, it's been together, it's been apart, it's been together. I bought the whole new gasket set. Really did think this thing was gonna work. It's just not. To install a whole new motor, block the nuts, soup the nuts. I mean, I got new piston rings in some of it. For it to not pan out just really sucks. Can't win them all. Everything could be flooded. It's just, this sucks. The whole situation sucks. And before I start cursing on camera, cut. Thanks for watching. See you in never. new and reliable. I got it running. Need the drill. It's never steady. There's just too many things wrong with it. My block assembly, I got water peeing out sides of the gasket, the side plate. I can't touch the block. It's super hot. Probably running too hot as it is. Brand new ignition system. Everything's new. I don't know if the fuel tank's fully cleaned. I can't pick a spot on the needle. Sometimes a turn and a half works. Sometimes half a turn works. Sometimes 2 turns out works. It runs good high speed. I can't get it to idle anywhere near this section. This is your idle spot. This is kind of like a low speed. I can't get it to run slow speed. Could be the coils. They look like some aftermarket crap I bought years ago. I'm done. It's a really good, awfully running parts motor. This is the end of the 62 3 horsepower series. One of the pistons got a score down the middle. I showed it. Piston wall's got a score down the middle. I have another block. Maybe I can throw in some metal rescue, play around with and pray. I got a lot of pieces here to maybe make a 3 horsepower if I can find another one. I gotta find another one. It's pumping water, just pumping out of every orifice I can think of. We almost had her. It was a fun toy to play with. I would never take this on a boat. I would never sell it to another person to put on their boat. We're gonna run the gas out of her, take her apart, salvage the other piston, the other rings. I did buy a new crankshaft for it. Thanks for hanging around on the 3 horsepower series. Didn't mean to drag it out this long. If I find another donor motor, maybe we'll put her together. It would have been a cute little kicker for my boat or someone else's boat. Still got a lot of good pieces. Every gasket I put in this thing is brand new. My bolts are tight, so I don't know if maybe the block is warped because of that score in the piston. Maybe the thing overheated so bad. Just too many issues, too many little issues that are equaling up to not a good running motor. So let's give her a last hurrah, run her till she's dead out of fuel. That's because the needle's closed. It's half a turn, 1 turn and a half. And now I can, like, could you imagine a boat pull starting this thing? You'd be screaming. I mean, I'm screaming in a barrel. Too much fuel in it to waste. Got it to pump water though. We did clear out all the passages. It was kind of fun to play with. It likes it in this section. Like you can't go lower than this. And I've had 3 horsepowers run really well. Much better than that. It's just, I think water's hitting the cylinder. It's just too many little issues. Full starting that. See, it wants to. Something's hitting the spark. It's intermittent spark, but it's a brand new ignition system. So either water's hitting it, I got water spurting out everything else. She could be overheating. That's, you know, what the other thing is, I can't touch the block. She could be overheating. I don't know why it's overheating. I do have, and now it's, I got water coming up in and out of the block, out of the holes, but it's still too hot. And all the passages are clear, so I know it ain't a passage blockage issue. Everything in the lower unit's perfect. It's spitting out water. Brand new head gasket. Don't try that on me. It's just not helping. Something ain't right, or just too many little issues. I think that's what it is. I think it really did overheat. Yeah, you can't touch the block. But water is coming in and out. The water tube is set. I've checked everything. So you got water running through the block, but still an overheating power head. I don't know. You guys probably know the problem. You've probably seen the problem. Probably screaming at me. The problem's this, but I just don't know it. I can read your comments. I can figure it out. Calling it quits in the 3 horsepower. I got too many other projects. So, thanks for staying tuned. Stick with me. More projects coming. See you in the next one.